Welcome here to HardHeaded Productions podcast number 3. This is the third one we're doing. I don't know today's date, though.
The 16th?
16th. I never remember the date. Let's see. We're going to get right into some stuff today. We have Brandon once again.
Yes,
and I'm
sir.
John. We're coming back to you this week. Third episode, HardHeaded Productions. We really want people to sign up, subscribe, like, share, all that other fun stuff. And we have some politics that we got, like I said, February 16th. Donald Trump just had an amazing press conference today, I believe. Most people might not say that. He looked like his campaign self again, out there just calling things out and just talking off the riff and going at it. And I think that he is his best press secretary. I don't think he needs Sean Spicer. I think if Donald Trump is the best person to explain Donald Trump.
Obviously, because he knows himself. But I don't like the way that he treated the media. He called BBC and CNN fake news again, which in my mind is not true. And all they wanted was a question answered, and he can do that. To me, that's bullcrap. Answer the question, move on to the next question. Don't complain, you're fake news, when they have facts and evidence asking you it is true or not, and then you just say the fake news. It's a lie.
What's your definition of fake news?
Okay, my definition of fake news is...
Oh, I caught you on that one. I see it in your face. I caught him.
No.
Clipping a little. All right, keep going. It's all right.
No,
Keep
fake
talking.
news, okay, so, like, for example, two examples I would say it's fake news is BuzzFeed and Mick, okay, because it's mostly liberal, and they don't have... They're one-sided. That's definitely fake news when they're completely biased.
So what's your idea of mainstream news? I mean, as far as like your Fox, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS,
okay.
BBC, all that kind of stuff. Do you think they're credible news sources, or do you look and see who actually owns those companies and what their policies are and what they might be pushing forward? Or is it just, do you think that news is actually news nowadays?
News is not news nowadays, unless you go to like some like a website or a historian or something like that. Because ABC, CNN, Fox, CNN and ABC mostly liberals, Fox hardcore conservatives. So in each of those categories, you don't have a hidden agenda. Either they're gonna like the person or not. That's my definition. And as long as you have the like, if you're real balanced, if you have, the pros and cons and be honest, that's what real news is.
Okay. My definition of news has definitely changed. I don't think there's journalists anymore.
Okay.
I believe a journalist reports facts and evidence and says this is this, gets an interview from one side, gets an interview from the other, says this is what this person says, this is what this person says, and then that's it.
Right.
But nowadays, every news show on CNN, MSNBC, even Fox, even ABC, all your big three, newspaper articles, they're all written as opinions.
Yes.
There's not journalism anymore. To me, journalism is factual based. Right. This is what happened. Here, like, say it's an earthquake, right? Yeah. It's, all right, the earthquake happened. This is the time it happened. This is the magnitude of the earthquake. This is the city and area it was affected in. Right. Done. Right. Okay? And then you have an interview from earthquake experts. Yeah. And you have an interview from people that experienced earthquake. What opinion does now is says, well, because of this and this and this, and we feel, and because of this, and so it gets into these feelings and emotions and personal bias, and it's like, well, the earthquake happened because of fracking, or because of this, or because of the environment, or because of other thing, and you're bringing in outside your own personal thing into it. That's no longer journalism. Every show on these shows are all talking heads giving their personal opinions, which I understand and I don't mind, but to me, personal opinion, if you want to watch that, great. If you want just the facts, here's this, here's that, here's that, get three. There used to be 3 confirmed sources. Yep. Newspapers, LA Times, New York Times, Washington Post, all those. You just have to have 3 confirmed. If you said something, if I'm a journalist, I would have to hear it from you. Okay, get your name, confirm who you are, all that kind of stuff, and then have 2 other people tell me that, yes, this person did say that, or I heard him say that, or I was there when he said that, or this, you're telling me that this happened, and then somebody else tells me the same thing happened to somebody else, and I take all those sources, and now that's a factual thing. That's 3 sources of evidence.
Yeah. Do you think Brian Williams is a journalist?
No. Not at all.
All right.
I think Brian Williams, his story was when he was embedded with the military, he came under attack. His helicopter came under attack. They were transferring him from one, like probably where he landed at an air base, to some forward operating base, or FOB, FOB, however you want to say that. And his helicopter came under attack, is what he said.
Yes.
That he took fire.
Right.
We now know that wasn't true. It was a helicopter that happened to be in front of him that was taking fire. Yep. But then there's still discrepancies of, was the helicopter directly in front of him, or like flying in convoy?
Right.
Was it like a few hundred yards in front of him, and that one took fire, and his helicopter pilot had to move out of the way or something? There's stories that say that, and then there's also stories that say the helicopter that took fire in front of him was like an hour and a half in front of him.
Okay.
So, which is clearly not you and your convoy taking fire.
Right.
So, yes, he at one time I think may have been a journalist, but not anymore. He's an opinion. It's clear where his bias is. Right. And bias goes both ways. I'm not saying that doesn't. Yeah. But if you just call yourself an opinionist, or you call yourself like a Bill O'Reilly,
yes,
he doesn't say he's a journalist. He's fully out there saying, "Now, this is my opinion. Yeah. But here are the facts, and then here's my opinion based on these facts." Yeah. That's fine. I have no problems with people doing that. But that's what most of these shows are now. They're not factual based. Right. The news is like the news little ticker that comes around like on Fox. I think it's Shepard Smith or something like that. He just kind of does news. Yeah. There's like a news hour, and then you have, they do little news breaks from the newsroom. Yeah, right. Here's what just happened. Was a bombing in Afghanistan. There was a flood in Northern California with a dam overflowing. Here's the news. Here's the facts. This is what's going on. The president spoke today and said this, and then run a clip of what he said. Yeah. Don't edit that clip. Because ABC and CNN lately have been caught editing clips and things like that. So it's kind of like
Fox News are the same thing.
Oh, they all do it. Yeah, they all edit clips and they'll take things out of context and edit stuff. And it's kind of like, man, like why? Like that's no longer news. That's not telling you a fact. That's telling you a story they want to tell you.
And said that like comedians like Jon Stewart and Trevor Noah calls that out, and you can. They're more credible sources than Fox News and ABC and CNN.
Oh, no. They're more guilty of editing things together than anybody out there. Their shows are full of edited clips, man. Talk about taking things out of context. Every time I've ever watched those shows, even, what's his name? The guy who took over on CBS Late Night. He said John. He used to work with Jon Stewart, and I can't think of his name.
Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert. Nobody watches his show. That's what. And then Samantha Bee now on TBS or whatever. Yeah. They're all the same. That's the same mold of talking about taking clips out of context and just showing the one thing. It's ridiculous. When you see a conservative go on their shows, they get hammered, and then they get everything is taken out of context. The clip that is shown on the news reel coming up, like coming up on tonight on the show is so-and-so. Here's what they said. And then it's like, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to tune into that because they said that. And then most people don't watch the actual show. They watch the clips. Or you go to YouTube and watch these clips. But there's a lot of people on YouTube now, they're deconstructing these clips and deconstructing these things. And this leads into, okay, so Trump had this news conference today. If you watch the whole news conference, an hour and 18 minutes or something like that, if you just sat and watched it and listened to what he said, he took questions from all those people. He did take questions from CNN. At first, he was like, no, got to get some stuff out. But he did take questions from everybody. He took questions from print media, news media, bloggers, vloggers, everything. Foreign press. He took questions from everybody for an hour and 18 minutes. So you can't fault him for that, where on the trail, Hillary Clinton went almost an entire year without having a news conference at all?
Okay, that's her problem, not Trump's.
That's why she didn't get elected.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why she didn't get elected, but
one of the reasons. So at least Trump's out there. He's willing to put himself out there and be like, hey, all right, I'll come to you direct. Stop. And he even said, I don't mind if it's a bad story. Like if I truly fucked up, call me on it and it's a bad story And yeah,
That's
I'll admit
what
it.
you've been trying to do, but he said, no, you're fake, you're fake.
Because it is. A lot of this is made up shit right now, dude.
Okay. Oh,
well. Okay, so we're talking about, so Flynn was the thing that brought this whole thing together.
Yes.
The Kellyanne Conway thing last week, and then Flynn with him talking to the Russians.
Yes.
So what exactly did Flynn do wrong?
In my opinion, he did nothing wrong because he was hired under Obama. And Obama's...
No, Flynn was hired by...
Flynn was hired by Obama.
By Trump.
Uh,
No, Flynn was supposed to be his national security advisor.
Okay. Well,
because he was under Obama, Flynn did nothing wrong. But now that you found out he's under Trump, now he did something wrong, probably, huh?
No, I'm not going to go that game. No.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, my turn. Okay. With Flynn, to me, he didn't do anything wrong. He did his job. Like Trump said, he did his job, and he would like to know about it, but it happened, and he got fired, and that's in the story.
Well, yes. What Flynn actually did was speak to the Russians ahead of time, and maybe he was talking about sanctions, maybe we don't. But what Flynn did wrong was he told Vice President Pence that he didn't have these conversations and didn't say anything, and then it comes out that he did. So he left the vice presidents out to dry and out to hang, and you don't make your higher ups look bad.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. He made his higher up in Pence look bad, and then the supreme person in charge of everything, Trump, came down and says, "Yeah, I need your resignation."
Right.
Like he said today, I still like him as a guy.
Yeah.
He's a stand-up honest guy, but what he actually did wasn't wrong, though. For an incoming administration to actually have communication with foreign people saying, "Hey, we're going to be elected. Let's come together and talk." And now we have some dialogue. So then once we are elected, we already have some established rapport with one another. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. People bring up when Obama talked to Medvedev back in 2009 before he got reelected, and he's on a mic saying, wait until after the elections because then I'll have more flexibility to do what we want to do.
I remember that story.
What's the difference? He's talking to a Russian official before he was, even though he was president at the time, it's still he's talking about what he can do in the future administration.
Right.
So what Flynn was doing was talking about what he can do in the future administration.
To me, there's no difference.
Legally, there's nothing wrong with what he did. So, but the media is Russia this, Russia that, Russia this. They want to get Trump on any tiny little thing.
That's what they did it with Obama. So it goes both ways.
No.
Fox
ABC,
Fox News.
One organization. Fox News and Breitbart. There's two organizations.
And the Blaze, 3 of them.
Well, the Blaze kind of runs both ways. But all right,
no, mostly conservative.
So 3 organizations out of how many media outlets are there? CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN.
5 to 3.
Oh, I haven't even gotten into newspapers yet.
Okay. LA Times, New York
Times, Washington Post, the Free Beacon.
Okay, this just proves that
man.
the world likes Democrats better
than
Republicans. The world does, yes. 8 years ago, Obama won. The world is happy. Yes, Obama, he did it. Trump wins. The world laughing stock. Besides Israel. Israel loves us.
Well, it's also only 30 days in, so.
Yep. And
give the guy a chance. How many national security advisors did Obama go through?
Many.
He went through quite a few.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have a national security advisor resign or ask for his resignation the first 30 days before things really get going, instead of a year and a half in and we're involved in something and now you have to replace this person who has people there, has his people there. You have to replace all his staff. It's a lot easier to do it now.
Okay.
So,
well, we differ on our opinions. It's okay.
But I'd still, because this fake news is going to continue. So, it
will.
I just see that. And do you believe the Russians actually hacked the election?
We don't know. We don't know.
We know they didn't hack the election. No Russian hacked any voting machine. They never changed a vote and anything like that. They didn't hack into the elections.
And then why they think that they didn't? Okay.
They hacked into the DNC.
Yes. It makes it they'd probably lose. And that's how Hillary lost. Because of the Russians.
But what did the Russians... Okay, if the Russians did hack into the DNC computers...
That would not do that if they did.
If they did, allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Let's say they did.
Playing devil's advocate,
So
saying they did.
we'll just say they did.
Okay.
The Russians hacked into the DNC computers. Did they manufacture the evidence? Did they manufacture the emails that they pulled out of there? Or did they just pull emails out and then release that information?
Ask WikiLeaks. We don't know.
Well, none of the information that has ever been pulled out has been disputed as false information.
Okay.
They just say that it was hacked by a foreign government. So it's not the information that they received was false. They're not claiming that. Nobody's claiming that the Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the DNC rigged the system against Bernie Sanders. Because they did. That's what came out in those Russian hacks. That's the information that came out. So that information came out, and that's why they're blaming. That's why the Democrats are now blaming the Russians, because they exposed truth that was actually going on. I would much rather have all those emails and everything be seen by both sides.
Yeah.
And the Russians did try to hack the Republican National Convention as well. But they didn't get into their system. They didn't get into their emails. They got into the Democrat ones. And then they released that information. But the information that was released has never been proved false. Silence.
No, silence. It's
all right.
Agree or disagree. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, it's all right.
It is an opinion.
Well, you have to.
Just an opinion.
First of all, you have to agree before anybody can agree to this. Well, you can agree to disagree at any time. In order to come together and actually have a discussion, truly, you have to realize you have to agree on facts first. So once you agree on the facts, then you explore from those facts. Yeah. That's what real news does.
Thank you, CNN.
No. CNN. We just proved that CNN, they all edit stupid shit.
I know, everyone does.
So if they edit and take shit out of context, that's fake.
It's fake, yes.
So CNN is fake news.
We're being sarcastic.
Yeah, but you can't be sarcastic when you're actually talking, when you're debating something. You have to come together.
Facts,
yeah. Sarcasm only works when you're joking around and shit like that. We're talking about an actual, shit that affects the country right now. Can't be sarcastic about it.
Trump is all the time.
Yeah, because he's a businessman. That's his personality, which is crazy. He wasn't my guy. I told you this in episode 1. He's not. I didn't have a candidate in this thing, man. So anyway, still going with Trump. We have this article about all these companies, I guess The Rock and some other. This girl, Misty Copeland, who I don't know, and then there's somebody else, that were for Uber, because the CEO of Uber had a meeting with Trump, and he came out and says, I agree with Trump on this policy. He wasn't saying, and this is specifically talking about taxes for businesses and how businesses can go forward. American businesses can flourish and develop and things like that. So we have Under Armour that got attacked. We have Uber that was attacked. Starbucks has been attacked. Tesla has been attacked. Amazon, all these companies were attacked by social media, social justice warriors in the social media. This whole grab your wallet campaign against Ivanka and her company and against anything Trump, and telling Amazon that they shouldn't sell Trump merchandise, telling Starbucks, and Starbucks was, so Starbucks thing is they kind of went off on a tangent, another thing.
Yeah.
But even Tesla himself, who was on the board economic advisory council of the president, and these people, he's bringing business people in, and these companies that are flourishing, technology. Obviously, Amazon has their hand in everything. Uber, who is there, they created a great company and a great service, but the Democrats don't want them because the taxi unions are behind the Democrats, and therefore they don't want to lose the money. Right. So follow the dollar, and everything follow the dollar. So this whole thing with Under Armour, and then these celebrities come out and disagree with the CEO because, hey, we're not really supporting him, but we represent a family here at Under Armour, and when you go out and say you support Trump, but he didn't really say he supported Trump. He said he supports that policy of these tax cuts and these certain things. Yeah. So can you support, you as a liberal, and is there anything that you can support Trump on? Or is it because of one thing or multiple? Say you dislike 80% of what he does, you can never like the 20%.
No, okay. To me, what the CEO of Under Armour and Amazon, I agree on that part. There's some things that I agree with Trump on. Like, for example, I'm going to get a lot of crap for this too, but the banning thing. My friend gave me a perfect example. John, let's say I go to your house every day, and I'm going to give you drugs. drug dealer at your house. What are you gonna do? Kick me out?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna allow you in my house at all.
Okay, I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna go into your house. I'm gonna be a drug dealer and you're gonna kick me out. So eventually, you want me out. So you're gonna build a wall, right, to keep me out.
Well, I would do other things before build a wall, but yeah.
Wow. Okay.
On an individual basis here.
Okay, but
I'll handle my shit.
Wow. So you'd probably kill people. That's sad. Anyways,
I'd kill a drug dealer if he was sitting out in front of my house and I didn't want him there for sure. Some guy slinging dope right in front of my house every fucking day.
And you'd shoot them? You wouldn't?
I would pursue other ways first of trying to get rid of this person. If they would not listen to this, then I'm going to take force into my own hands. Okay. I didn't say I'd shoot them. I didn't say I'd kill him. But eventually, well, I probably did say I'd kill him.
Yeah.
Eventually, if it gets to that, yes.
Yeah. Now, see, for me as
if you are harming my house or my family, yes.
Now, see, for me as a liberal for this Trump ban thing, that I'm supportive because I think we should get rid of the illegal aliens and the drug sales.
Undocumented
immigrants.
Immigrants.
Okay.
I forget where.
Being politically correct right now.
Don't trigger anybody.
We won't. All right, so I believe in that part. Yeah, so some things I do agree with Trump on, and some things I don't agree with Trump on. This Under Armour thing, I do agree with Trump on.
It's a pro-business thing, and people, but most people out there aren't rational thinkers like you are about this.
Right.
Most people are in the, hashtag never Trump.
Right.
And no matter what he does that could be good, are going to be completely against him.
It's sad,
and it's just not the way you're going to bring a country together.
Right. And
it's not unity.
Yeah.
If you can find the things that you work on and agree with, then you have common ground, and then you can move forward on other things. If you have common ground with him and he agrees with you, that means that you might be able to persuade him as much as he can persuade you into something else. So just outright denying anybody the chance to speak or do anything on certain topics is ridiculous.
Which I agree on.
Wow, this is going to go a lot smoother today than I thought.
It will be.
So, since we're on a agreeing term,
okay,
let's get into this story that I sent you about the Congress blocks rules barring well, and this is a headline from the Washington Post. So even this headline to me is telling how the story is going to be framed. Congress blocks ruling barring mentally impaired from guns. And then they have a picture of Sandy Hook on it.
Yeah, that was my first mind.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like who was it? Oh, it was Emmanuel Rahm that said, never let a tragedy go to waste.
Right.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of still bringing up a tragedy and using it for your political purposes on this particular topic. So what happened was Obama originally, after like the Sandy Hook and after some other things happened, gun shootings and things like that, he basically, I don't know if it was through Congress or through executive order, took it upon himself that the Obama administration rule required that Social Security Administration to send the names and beneficiaries with mental impairments who also have a third party manage their benefits. So if you are considered mentally impaired and have somebody else managing your benefits, so if they're like you're on a fixed income,
right,
like if your source of income is a Social Security and they send you a check, that's really them managing. It's the law is really kind of wishy-washy in what a third party is and what a mental disorder is. And they basically said that any of these people with a mental disorder and somebody managing their finances and things like that, say eventually your father was really sick and he's like, Brandon, I need you to manage my estate and just, pay my bills for me because he's elderly, crippled, maybe he's in a wheelchair, he can't get around that easy, can't drive to the bank, he can't do these things anymore. He has some like food coming in or hospice or whatever like that. But he still likes every once in a while, every 3 months or so, grabbing his little .22 and going to the range and shooting off a couple rounds at some paper targets.
Yeah.
Well, under the Obama rule, he wasn't allowed to buy a gun to do that anymore because somebody else manages things and if he had some sort of disability. So, I want to hear from you on this now.
Well, I am a pro Second Amendment. I think the right to bear arms. What I think that Congress did it was a good thing because, like Sandy Hook, that guy was mentally ill. The guy from Virginia Tech, mentally ill. The shooting in Santa Barbara, the guy who didn't get laid, he didn't get laid a lot, killed those people, mentally illness. We have to have a stricter gun control law on that, people with mental illness, because how many school shootings, how many deaths are we going to face because people had mental illness? That's bad. So I think that it did a good thing, and that we should always keep them in check.
Okay, so what do you consider?
We all have mental illness.
But this isn't mental illness. This was mental disorders.
Oh, okay.
So this was literally this law was the Obama law was mental disorders.
Okay.
Which I have a list here from the psychcentral.com, symptoms and treatments of mental disorders.
Okay.
So we can get into some mental disorders, and
90% of people probably have one case of mental disorders.
So let me just go with literally it could be like obsessive compulsive disorder, which, yes, if taken to an extreme, yes, maybe somebody, I'm not going to say they shouldn't own guns, but they shouldn't, eating disorders. If somebody's bulimic or anorexic, they can't own a gun under the Obama order.
Look, that's taking it too extreme, but...
Well, but we live in a world of extremes. They can't,
that's true.
You can't make a law without finally tuning it down to the very letter.
Right.
Each letter, each sentence, each word, everything means something. So if you just say mental disorders, that covers a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are nationally recognized mental disorders. Now alcohol substance abuse is also a mental disorder. So let me read you the alcohol substance abuse one here because I researched this. So first, I'm gonna read you the signs of. These are the signs of alcohol and substance abuse symptoms.
Okay.
Recurring substance use resulting in failure to fulfill major role obligations at work, school, or home. Have you ever been too drunk to go to work or school the next day?
No.
Ever?
Never.
Never. Like
never.
Never impaired. You were never like hungover.
Okay, hungover. Yes.
Massive headache, and you're like, okay.
But I'm still impaired. I'm still
relating to substance using substance-related abstinence, suspensions, or expulsion from school, neglect of children in house. Okay.
Never.
So you've never once called in sick from college or missed a class because you were too hungover, couldn't wake up in the morning, couldn't go.
Never.
Okay.
I tried. I went, and I went normally.
But you were still feeling the effects of it. You weren't fully functional when you were there.
I was functioning. I listened to
You were not
teachers
fully functional. You were not 100%.
No, 100%. No.
Okay. Recurrent alcohol or substance use in situations which it physically is hazardous. Have you ever drinking to where you've physically been in danger?
No.
You've never had a drink and driven?
No.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this on a previous podcast.
Yes, we had.
And
it's like incriminating myself now.
I could rewind I can get the tape from that. I have audio.
I know.
So driving an automobile, recurrent alcohol or substance use in situations which was physically hazardous. Driving an automobile, operating a machine when impaired by a substance.
Right. Have I done that? Yes.
Okay. Recurrent alcohol or substance-related legal problems. Arrests, alcohol, substance, anything. You've never been arrested for it? Okay. Never been to a program for it? Okay. Continued alcohol or substance use despite having persistent or recurring social or interpersonal problems caused or exacerbated, I just screwed up that word, by the effects of alcohol or substance use. Have you had an argument based on liquor consumption?
Yes.
You've never had a spousal problem or anything like that?
No.
Or never argued with a girlfriend? I'm not talking about striking a girlfriend or anything. You've never even just had an argument with a girlfriend or anybody or a loved one, a parent, anything, sister, brother, because you were intoxicated?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Have you ever been in a fight because of alcohol?
No.
Okay. So now you've admitted to at least 3 of these. I could probably admit to. I mean, I admit yes. I've missed.
You?
Oh yeah, I've missed work. I've missed school in the past. I've been in fights.
Have you driven drunk?
I've driven intoxicated. Probably yes.
Okay.
I mean, I like I said before. I think everybody probably has.
What?
Like blitzed out of my mind? Probably not. Have I driven buzzed? And buzzed driving is drunk driving and getting it all that. Yes. So yes, I mean, that's maybe I don't know. I might be going to jail now because of this. Just incriminate ourselves. I've never had legal problems from it though. Yeah. But out of those 4 things, we can answer yes to 3 of them.
Yes.
So now, generally characterized as a pattern of alcohol or substance use leading to significant impairment or distress as manifested by one or more of these following occurring within a 1-year period. We've just answered yes to 3 of these, and I guarantee they've all happened in the last 365 days.
Yes. And
therefore, under that Obama rule, we are not allowed to own guns.
See, that's bullcrap.
Exactly.
Yes, that's bullcrap. You got me on this one, yes.
Ridiculous.
Yes. Okay.
Let me I'm not going to read these all because, look, there's a giant page. These are adults on this side, child on this side. Okay. And then we get down into eating disorders. Then we get down to sexual disorders. We get down into sleep and wake disorders. And then other mental disorders. Okay. So there's any one of these on this list could prevent you from owning a firearm.
Okay, that's bullcrap.
So agoraphobia, fear of being in a tight space.
Yeah.
Okay, bereavement. If you've had somebody die and you're bereaving, body dysmorphic order.
Okay, that's
gender dysphoria. And then they also have, but also part of the sexual disorders are because they're actually still listed as disorders. Like if you are a man that wants to become a woman or vice versa, there's actual disorder listed in the in this thing. Right. So, therefore, those people can't own guns.
Yeah, okay. We pick my last statement. That's bullcrap. And we agree again. Because one of all.
Wow. This is a sex addict. You can't be a sex addict and own a gun.
Okay, Tiger Woods. Sorry, buddy.
Let's see what sex addiction is. I didn't click on this one last night. I clicked on the alcohol one because I knew that was just like... This picture. They go to sex addicts and the picture they show is this guy looking at his laptop and the girlfriend is like all totally pissed off.
Yeah.
And what's implemented there, right there in that picture, what's implemented? That guy's looking at porn and she's not paying attention to her, wearing a low cut top.
And
oh my gosh. There's 4 pages of sex addict things on here. I can't even read all this. Jeez. What is a sex addict? Treatment of sex addict. Who wants treatment?
Tiger Woods did apparently.
Yeah, I'm sure that helped.
Yeah.
But there's so many things on here that are just ridiculous.
Less government.
Oh my gosh, you're a Republican. Depression, eating disorders, obsessive compulsive panic disorder, postpartum depression. Obviously, okay.
Everybody has that.
But now we get into the nitty gritty of things. Schizophrenia. If somebody's a truly schizophrenic person where they have multiple personalities and different things in their head,
they should not get a gun.
They should probably not own a gun.
Yes.
And as a firm believer of the Second Amendment, and but I disagree with the NRA on a lot of things. I could get in. We allotted some extra time today to talk about this gun issue because I thought it was going to be a bigger one than I didn't know. I never actually knew your thoughts on gun.
Yeah.
So
do I? Okay, go ahead.
But if everybody talks about. You always hear guns, and you hear the liberals, you hear Nancy Pelosi's, and you hear the Bloombergs and the Schumers and everybody saying that we need common sense gun laws. Mm-hmm. Okay. The problem with that statement is, 1, not everybody has common sense.
True.
And 2, you need to agree on what common sense really is. They want to ban Nancy Pelosi and Feinstein, and what they've done here in California is ridiculous when it comes to guns. They ban certain guns because of how the gun looks.
AR-15s?
Yes. And what they've banned on an AR-15 is how the gun looks, not how it performs. That is a ridiculous, anti-common sense thing to me. Because something looks a certain way, it's banned. When another gun, because it doesn't look that way, pull the trigger one time, a bullet goes down. Pull the trigger, a bullet goes down. Pull the trigger. The same size round, the same cyclic rate, which means the speed of fire. Yeah. The same distance, the same accuracy, the same weight of bullet, grain of bullet, all that kind of stuff. It's the same firing mechanism in a way, but one gun is banned and the other one isn't because of because of what one looks like. Because it has a collapsible stock, because you can put a foregrip on it, because you can control the firearm better. And then when you get into common sense, what what percentage of crime is the AR-15 actually used in?
Probably like 5%, 10%.
It's less than 1%.
Less than 1.
So out of all gun crimes,
right.
Rifles are used. Handguns are used the most.
Right.
Then I think it goes shotguns. Then it goes rifles, and then in the rifle category, that's all rifles. That's bolt action.
Okay.
That's all rolling block. That's AR-15. That's everything. And then the AR-15, the semi-automatic weapon, as an AR-15, that style of weapon, is used in less than 1% of those crimes. So. But what it is it's this gun that looks like it's, was the M16 of the Vietnam area. Because it looks like it's what the military carries, it's not. The guns are completely different. But because it looks a certain way and it has a certain, it's an icon weapon as far as what the Hollywood and movies and TV have made that. And when we do see these shooting events, yes, like the Aurora shooting and the Adam Lanza thing and the Sandy Hook and San Bernardino right here. Yes, they use that style of weapon, but and then also a mass shooting. You know what a mass shooting is? Yeah, FBI wise?
When 5 or more are dead.
4.
Okay, 5, 4.
4 or more. No, and it's not even dead. It's shot.
Yeah.
It's injured. It's actually injured.
Okay.
So 4 or more injured from a shooting. So say you're hanging out. I'm going to use a bad example right now, and I'm going to get shit for it. Say you're hanging out in the hood,
okay,
and you and your homies are sitting out front of the house, right?
Right. And
some car rolls up and they start blasting, right?
Yep.
Rolling down the street in my 6'4".
Right.
They come out with their 9s all sideways.
Yep.
And start shooting people, right?
Yep.
They only shoot 2 people. They fire off 10 rounds. They actually hit 2 people. Okay. Say one person dies, one person other shot, but Big Tony is running away and trips and breaks his ankle.
Right.
And little Tina she runs the other way and she runs into a light pole and knocks her head out on this light pole, right?
Okay.
That's 4 people injured. That's now a mass shooting. 1 person dead, 1 person shot, 1 person twists his ankle,
and
1 person
the
hits.
light pole.
Yeah.
That's little.
If you're in a house and say you're just it's family dinner and somebody blasts your house from the outside and people get hurt falling down or glass, you get cut by the glass.
Yeah.
That's an injury. So therefore that's now a mass shooting.
They have to label that completely.
So when they label that and then these newsmen, there's mass shooting every day. Well, there's not a mass shoot. Yes, under those circumstances there is. But statistics and that's alternative facts and things like that. That's fake news. That's where all this stuff comes into. Let's just everybody agree on what a shooting is.
Okay.
If it's a death, let's call it a death. If it's 4 people dead, let's call it 4 people dead, and then call that a mass shooting. And then your numbers come drastically down. And then in all those mass shootings, the AR-15 is used in such a small percentage, but that's what gets the media and everybody, it gets this buzz, and they put this picture of this rifle, and it looks dangerous because it has this magazine on it, this thumb hold, and this collapsible stock, and this foregrip, and these sights on it. And all that is done is to make that gun easier to use. It's basically a large 22. 22 is basically the smallest caliber round out there. Now, yes, this is rifled. It's a little bit bigger, has a lot more powder behind it. It can travel a farther distance at a faster speed, but it's not a high-powered weapon. High-powered is another thing that gets. I'm gonna rant right now.
I know.
I know you're trying to jump in, but I'm on a roll. So, high-powered weapon is also something the media uses and is blown out of proportion, and liberals and use as it's a high-powered weapon. Well, what's high-powered? Is high-powered the rate of fire? Is high-powered the capacity that bullet has to knock something over? Is the force that it hits you with, impact force? What is high-powered? Because a 223 or 5.56 NATO round, which is it's really the same round, and I can get into a whole list on that. But so that size round isn't really high-powered. Yes, it travels at a high rate of speed, but it doesn't have a lot of stopping power at the end. So it can be fired quickly as far as each time you pull the trigger. What's high powered? When we talk about common sense, what is really common and what is sensible?
Okay, well I say high powered because I don't own a gun, and so I would think high powered for me definitely is how fast it hits you with.
Okay, so basically kinetic energy, knockdown power at a certain range, what it hits you with.
Yep, that's for me.
I kind of agree with that.
Okay. Oh, look at that. We are on a roll agreeing with everything now.
So I'm still back to this disorder thing. So also, the gun thing is, so yeah, when you really get into some disorders, yes, if somebody is, schizophrenic and they're seeing, if they're seeing things and having people talk to them in their heads, ADD is not, it's on this list. ADD is on this list. Like, that's not a, if some girl is bulimic, I still believe she has the right to own a gun.
Yeah, everyone does.
But now we get into these sexual disorders. If some dude is out there flashing himself and jerking off in public and stalking women and doing, things like that, yes. And I also agree that if you have a record, and right now it is these. Now remember, these disorders were also encompassed with somebody also managing your finances and things like that. So there's a caveat to it. But common sense to me, I have so many. I've posted a bunch of stuff on Facebook over the years and talked about this with friends over the years. But common sense gun control, it used to be the old joke was gun control is hitting your target. If there's a gun around, I want to be in control of it, that kind of mentality, which I agree with, and it's a funny bumper sticker. But why can't we simplify the gun rules? Or enforce the ones we already have, instead of piling on these rules and rules and rules, why don't we just shorten that list up to maybe like 5 rules, make them national, and then make every state like, this is what you have to follow, done. Anybody, you break this rule, this is the punishment for it. I've always thought if you go into 7-Eleven with a gun, and you don't use that gun, you just have that gun, that should be a minimum like 10 to 20 year sentence to me. Okay? So you don't fire the gun, you just have it. You're like pointing at the clerk going, give me the money, give me this. That's 10 to 20 years minimum for me. If you fire the gun, I believe that's 20 to life. If you actually kill somebody, automatic life, and then you're on maybe death penalty.
That I'll agree with you on.
To me, that's common sense.
That's common sense. That I would agree.
If you were to enforce those laws, right, those 3 things, and then there's some variations of how that works and stuff like that. So if those 3 laws right there, if you just were to enforce those alone, do you know, how much the gun crime would come down? Criminals would be like, oh, they're actually prosecuting us for this? If you start prosecuting people for the crimes they actually do, instead of getting off for good behavior, getting technicalities, all that kind of stuff, it would be a different world. So in that whole mindset of, and this is the thing, the whole system needs to be replaced.
Yes.
But the common sense thing is such a bullshit statement that it always drives me nuts when I hear it, because it's not common. It doesn't make sense. So when you just enforce previous laws, break it back down, get the national carry out there. There's a whole thing right now with a hearing protection act, which is right now you can't have which people will just call it a silencer, even though I know it's not a silencer. Save your comments. But a silencer on a gun is basically you have to pay a big tax for it and wait, and you can't even get them in California. And even when you do, but all it does, it doesn't improve the gun. Nobody's rocking around like a James Bond type with a silencer on their gun and shooting people, and you can't hear it, and he's getting away from the scene of the crime and pulling the silencer off, and nobody's doing that. It's in the movies. Stop listening to movies. Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein and everybody else. Don't get your information from Hollywood. Get it from people who actually know guns. How about that? So with the whole talk about overhauling the system, and I mentioned about enforcing crime and how much crime would come down, O.J. Simpson's up for parole.
Yes. Wow. The juice.
The juice is going to be loose again.
Okay. This guy's okay. If he gets probation, he is the luckiest guy in the world. What do you think? I don't think he should get to probation. He should be in jail for life. But if he gets off,
he should be in jail for life
until he dies. Yes. Okay.
For what? For the crime he committed in Nevada, he should be in jail for life.
Yes, because like you said earlier, he threatened somebody with a gun.
Well, the gun wasn't in his hand; it was in somebody else's hand.
That's true, but
he apparently may or may not have knowledge that guy brought a gun.
Well, be very surroundings, be your friends.
So go ahead.
And because I think he killed Nicole Brown.
But this is for a
I
different
know,
crime.
a different crime. I know.
He got off for that crime already.
Yeah, and he wrote a book of if I would have done it. How dumb can he be? But anyways,
He's up for parole in October.
And he's he'll be 70.
He'll be 70 by then.
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated has a great article on this. It's titled. Let me scroll back up here, guys. This summer, O.J. Simpson is up for parole. How good are his chances of getting out of prison? O.J. Simpson, will his prison sentence be whatever?
I think he'll get out.
It's a good article.
Yeah,
man. It really is because it breaks everything down as far as his original thing with the killings, and then it breaks down what happened in this crime, and then it breaks down the Nevada state parole and their requirements for getting parole, and it's based on this point system, which it's between negative points and plus 2 points are allocated for each criteria, and then it goes into whether you're a medium, high risk, low risk. But there's all these different things. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 things on there, and it's a panel of, I think it's 7 people.
And you need 4 of them to get.
You need 4 of them to get you, to say yay or nay.
But let's say he does get parole. He can't leave Nevada. He always has to check in still.
It's still parole, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? I think he'll get out, even though I don't want to, but I think he will get out.
He got 33 years for this crime, and that was back in 2008, I believe.
Okay.
So he's basically going to serve 9 years on a 33-year sentence. I have a problem with that. I don't think OJ is going to be a harm to anybody. I really don't.
Okay.
I do think I think he will get paroled. I think based on this criteria that they laid forward and in this point system, he's not a threat to anybody. He's not involved with gangs. He's not this. He's not that. He's actually not improved himself while he's in there, but he has done certain things to he hasn't hurt his chances. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So based on that, I think he's gonna get let out in October. But should he? Probably not. Should you only serve 9 years of a 33-year sentence? No. The rule is, I think it's almost half right now, and I think in California it's like 50% time.
Okay.
And then you get an additional, like you really only, like you say you got sentenced for 10 years,
right.
You're really automatically only going to serve 5. And then you can even get that shortened by what you do while you're in prison. You know, if you do get an education in there, you're a responsible,
good behavior
kind of thing, stuff like that. There are other ways for you to get even that 5-year sentence shortened. So,
I wonder if the odds and Vegas up on that.
I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there's some casino going to take the bet. But I just don't think if you get a 33-year sentence, I think, and the reason they do that, it's prison population control.
There's more prisons.
Which that's a whole other topic about how crowded are prisons and privatized. A lot of these prisons are privatized.
Yep.
They get state and federal money to run these private prisons. And there's a whole, we can get into that, but we got about 20 minutes left on this podcast. So, man, I don't know what, I just don't see somebody serving 9 years on a 33-year sentence getting out. I don't care how old you are, how famous you are, anything. If you get sentenced for 33 years, and here's the thing, there was a multiple things he got popped for. And like 3 years ago, he got paroled on like 5 of those things. There were like 8 or 9 things, I think.
Okay.
On 5 of them, he got paroled on them before. That's why he's already been paroled once, but on the other crimes, he still had to serve time.
Okay.
So that's why that 33 years, it's not like it's a total of 33 years, but it's not because some of those are concurrent, which means you got like 1 year for like armed robbery. Say you got 1 year for armed robbery, 1 year for like battery, 1 year for kidnapping, holding somebody against their will, kind of thing. So that's 3 years, right? That's not a 3-year sentence. It's 3 1-year sentences, but you really serve them as 1 year. So they're served concurrent.
Yeah.
But that's served as a 1 year. It's 3 crimes, 1 year each. But those years are just compiled into all. It's not 3 years. It's not you do a year and then do a year and do a year. So so that's kind of how his 33 years comes down as well. So I don't know. I just don't. That's why I think the mandatory sentencing is a lot better deal. Like I said, it's a 10 to 20 years if you used a gun.
Right.
Well, not used, had a gun.
Okay.
So the guy that was with him, but here's the thing. I think the guy that actually had the gun on him,
What?
I think he's already out and been out of jail for a while.
Wow. Wow.
You know, I think he pled guilty and admitted and was like, no, but it was his idea.
Yeah.
And then he testified against him and some other shit went down. And so everybody else was like, no, everybody trades up.
Right.
Let's stop this trading up thing, give everybody sentences, make you serve your time, and move on, man. But I don't know. So with that, there's also another story about this. Bring his name up, because I didn't save that article.
There's this rock band called As I Lie Dying. They were a Christian metal band back in the 2000s. They were pretty big. Well, back in, I forgot what year it was, the lead singer decided to hire a hitman on his wife. Well, he got caught, and he was supposed to serve probably like a 20-year sentence, and he just got released last week. And so, I don't know, Don, tell me, how are these people getting away with this stuff? You have money, lawyers. Explain to me.
I think it goes back to the same thing we were just talking about as far as so this guy, Tim Basis or something like that, released from prison, and apparently he was released back in December, so we're kind of getting to this. He was discharged on December 17th, 2016. Well, this guy hired an off-duty cop to kill his wife.
Right.
And then let me see if we can pull it up here. Now, this is band, I think I've heard this band.
They're a good band.
I think I've heard of them before. I'm not, let me see if I can find this here. Trying to bring up how much his sentence, I don't even know if it says here what he originally got. All right, so this article is on loudwire.com, which...
The metal. It could be fake metal. Well,
fake metal?
Fake metal news.
What's fake metal?
Fake metal news.
Fake metal news. No, but you said fake metal, so I was thinking, like, what's a fake metal band?
Well, I can say love. I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, because you're going to say Metallica.
Slayer's better. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, that's personal opinion. See, those things aren't facts. Those are all opinions.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
But speaking of Metallica...
I can't see on here where it says what his original... it might be there's like a little YouTube thing on here, but I'm not going to click that because I don't want to... It's going to take forever.
Well, speaking of Metallica, they're going on tour with Avenged Sevenfold this summer.
Yeah, I heard they're playing Mexico. They're playing here. It's
the Rose Bowl.
Oh, it's a Rose Bowl tour.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a Staples Center Forum. It's at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, Rose Bowl.
Like in August or something like that. That might be worth it. I saw U2. I think I mentioned this before at the Rose Bowl. It's a great show there. It's a great venue because it's a shallow. It's not a big stadium. It's a shallow. It's a kind of shallow. It's just a bowl. It's a really shallow salad bowl kind of looking thing. So there's not a really bad seat there.
Yeah.
So if they do a stage like they normally do, where they just play all sides, anyways, which is what I've always liked about Metallica and their stage shows. A lot of time, it's not like they're back against a wall and they're only facing out one direction.
No, they go.
They put their stage right in the middle of these arenas, and they face all directions and run around and stuff like that. And I've always liked that about them, live. So, yeah, so they're Metallica's coming up. What else do we have? Anything else we have coming up?
Yeah, Incubus and Jimmy Eat World. They're coming up soon at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, you mentioned
that. What date? And then Deftones and Rise Against the Plan. Yeah, that's gonna be a good show.
I put a link. I might not put a link, but I think I put a picture up on the last YouTube episode 2. Now we're on episode 3 though. So let's. We also, one of our segments we wanted to do and cover was we want to do like alcohol, beer review, some restaurant and bar review, and you want to cover a certain restaurant this week.
Yes. The restaurant on the cover is Heroes / Roscoe's. They have 3 locations: Chino Hills, Fullerton, and Riverside. It's a good place for food. Sandwiches are really good. The beers are good. They have probably 18 different taps. Reasonable price, like probably $40, $30. Big food. Good service. It's really large portions, and you do get a lot of... you get your money's worth.
It's a little pricey on food-wise, but it's great. It's really good food, and it's big portions.
And good place to watch sports, too, as well.
We mentioned also last week that it was your birthday, and we ended up having your birthday party kind of was there.
Yes.
We had a big table there and friends, and Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to sit with you guys.
You could have joined.
I got pushed over in the corner with my friends.
You could have joined, okay? It was too many people.
So Roscoe's has on their website here, it says about us. Roscoe's Famous Deli provides a unique dining and gathering experience in Chino Hills. We offer hearty portions of great American food with enticing presentation. Roscoe's has 24 beers on tap and a full-service bar. So it's a great spot. There's more than just Heroes and Roscoe's. They have another, but it's Riverside, Chino Hills, Fullerton. I forget the name, but there are. Here, go to our restaurants here. There's a different. Everybody just remembers. Oh, Tony's Original Deli and Bottle Shop, Heroes Restaurant Brewery, Roscoe's Famous Deli. So, Joe's No Limits Bar and Grill, which is also in Fullerton. Okay. So, and this Tony's is in Anaheim now. This is a new one I haven't heard of.
Yeah.
So we have Roscoe's Chino Hills, we have Heroes in Riverside, Tony's Original Deli Shop and Bottle Shop in Anaheim, Roscoe's in Fullerton, Heroes in Fullerton, and Joe's No Limits Bar and Grill also in Fullerton. The funny thing about those three places, they are all within about 25, 30 yards of each other.
Yeah.
So Fullerton, downtown Fullerton it's a very busy place, but there's a lot of bars and things down in downtown Fullerton. I want to bring up another bar.
Okay, go for it.
It's not. I mean, I love Roscoe. I've been going to Roscoe's for years. I didn't even see how long. I didn't see how long Roscoe's has been around. I don't think it says on their website. But the other bar I went to last week was also in Fullerton. It's not in downtown. It's off of Euclid. Wow. It's called Syndicate Bar. Okay. And it's a great little. They got about 3 pool tables in there. It's called Syndicate. It's basically based on a like old school mob kind of thing. They have like Tommy guns. They have like these whiskey barrels that have like bullets, like 9mm casings and like plexiglass over them. I think their pool tables are covered in like red felt. And so it's a nice little place. Everything there they have is craft beer. It's probably 20-something, 24 drafts as well. Okay. But what they do is I think they only have 2 that they keep remaining on draft. So say there's 24. The 22 of them are basically a revolving keg, which is when they run out of one, they get in something new. Okay. So they have their list changes on that. They don't serve food. It's just alcohol, but it's beer. It's beer and alcohol. It's fine. It's spirits, and they have a lot of good whiskeys on draft or not on draft, on tap. Not on tap either. They have a lot of good whiskeys. And I'm all over it today. They have a lot of good whiskey, a lot of good tequilas. They have like a craft cocktail menu as well. Okay. Nice. They make a great old fashioned. Okay. They make I think really good mules, like different styles of mule drinks and stuff there as well. They have a really good like ginger beer that they make with that. Okay. I'm sold on. Well, I'm a craft beer connoisseur, a craft beeraholic. They have stuff there that and they'll give you little tasters. Try this, try that. Couple. Don't abuse the system over there. All right. Don't keep going in there and asking for tasters. But I guess it was an old school bar before, like a little dive bar or something like that. They took it over, I think in August, I was told. Okay. And since then, it's been really good. But it's called Syndicate Bar. It's on Euclid in Fullerton. It's kind of away from downtown. It's open till 2, I think. Probably every night. I don't know. I don't know if I can pull that up here right now or not.
Do you know if like karaoke nights or anything like that?
Any what nights?
Karaoke nights?
No, there are no karaoke. They do have like an electronic jukebox. It's not the Touch Tunes it's some other brand. So they do have like, play your own music. They, like I said, a couple pool tables, a couple of like regular, like, high top tables, and a pretty, maybe you can fit 12, 15 people at the bar itself. Nice. It's just it's lit well. It's kind of like dimly blue light kind of lit and stuff. It's a cool looking place, man.
Atmosphere is pretty cool too.
Oh, yeah,
good vibes.
It's a cool. I've met some cool people there. So here's what it kind of looks like there. That's obviously daytime.
Oh, wow.
You can kind of see I'm showing him pictures now of it on Google Maps or whatever we're on here. Shout out to Google because they need our press.
Yes.
So they have like these little bullet things on their tap handles.
This is very original.
Like I said, red pool tables right there. It's a cool little spot, man. Like, well, I have a friend that she is a bartender there. I'm not going to say her name or anything. And I'm not doing this for. They're not sponsored. I'm just doing it. I mean, she started working there, and we like it. I've been down there with a couple of mutual friends. I went down there with 2 mutual. Well, both are mutual friends. Me and one of the guys have been down there twice now, and the
Okay.
other guy we just took him last Friday.
Nice.
And we love it. It's a great little. I mean, it's a fun little spot, but it's all based on some. They got some old school gangster stuff in there,
Nice.
so it's a cool
It's
little
cool.
spot. And I just want them to do well, and good luck to them down there at the Syndicate Bar in Fullerton. Roscoe's here in Chino Hills, and in also Fullerton, Heroes, Riverside, all their spots. Like we said, really good food at Roscoe's and Heroes. Great drinks, great people. It gets busy. They do have sports on. You know, they show hockey and basketball and all that kind of stuff. Football games. Yeah, Sunday football at Roscoe's is. You got to get there early.
Yeah,
people.
9 o'clock before they open. Even at 9, get there at 9 or
Yeah,
8:30.
They also the Roscoe's does a great. This week they did a anti-Valentine's Day thing they do every year. St. Patrick's Day there is ridiculous. They
yes.
shut down their parking lot. They do like a beer garden in the parking lot. Live music, I believe, inside. They're closed, I believe.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, and I think 4th of July or Christmas Day or something like that. I think is the other days they're closed. But it's a the Halloween's there pretty fun. Like I said, Halloween, St. Patty's Day for sure. But that you can find me there on St. Patty's Day for sure. All right, Brandon, what else you got going on? Anything coming up for you other than those concerts you mentioned?
Had a birthday last week. It was cool. That's about it.
That's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
that's
It's
it. This is.
I don't really have anything coming up either. We have. I know I saw some other concerts, but they're still months away, so I'm not going to mention them now. So yeah, this is episode 3. We definitely got on some politics. We agreed more today than I thought we would.
Yes.
I never knew your stand on gun. Your stance on guns.
Yeah.
Also, the Trump thing. We will continue to have Trump news. I'm sure.
Yep.
He's not going away, people.
No, that 4 more
And-
years.
Yeah, at least.
2020.
So
he'll
we'll
be gone.
see. We'll see how this plays out. I mean, I want the president to do well.
And-
I want our press to be fair,
Um,
and I don't want our press to be fake. I want our press to just be fair. Just give me what was said and let me figure it out for my own. Don't tell me how to think.
And, you have to give, I hate to say this, but, you have to give Trump a chance. He's our president. We have to support him, whether we like it or not. And then next time, in 4 years, turn out and vote. If you don't like the president, vote. Don't have to say
I
about
agree.
that.
Vote. I mean, that's how we got this president.
Yeah.
Because people actually showed up this time.
Right.
So let's see here. We have pretty much out of time here.
right.
It's Thursday, the 16th of February.
Yep.
This will probably go up in a couple of days. I'm trying to get them turned out in about 24 hours after,
Okay.
but that's a little bit harder. I'm editing more than I want to right now, but I'm gonna streamline that coming up. So yeah, we're doing good. I like having you on, and that's next week will be episode 4.
Yep.
Who knows what we have coming up? I'm wanting to bring some guests on soon. If you're one of our friends or anything and know somebody or have some interesting perspective on something in the next couple of weeks, give either Brandon and me a call or email or something like that, and we'll bring you on and we'll talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
Bring you on as a segment, or we can. I'm trying to get even where we can do phone-ins, things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm working on some stuff here. This is just done out of my house, at a kitchen table with a laptop and some basic equipment. So we're not all fancy yet.
No.
But we're getting there. But
will
please,
be.
please like, share, subscribe,
Comment.
comment.
Give
yes,
us feedback.
give us some feedback. Let us know how we're doing, how we sound. What we need to change. What you would like us to talk about. Anything really. I mean, we're
here for
we're
you.
pretty much brand new at this, and we're open to criticism. So. Anyway, on that note, this has been HardHeaded Productions, episode number 3.
I'm Brandon.
I'm John, and we'll see you next week.